talked about a little bit of the inconsistency of our careers, right? How are you guys able to find that stability that parents crave, right? How do you find the stableness within the instability? Harriet, do you want to?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's very difficult, but, you know, when I first had my children, you know, you develop a routine and you think you've got it all sorted, and that's always changing. And what I've always managed to do somehow is to surround ourselves with people who understand and respect how we're trying to bring up the children, who can help us when we need it. Every week is different. My husband is in you know, the film business, and he travels a lot, so we have to have good sitters and caregivers who can help us at, you know, and it's never the same. And when we were in London and here, I mean, luckily we live in these big cities where there are people who need extra work. They're, you know, actors or students, or, you know, and same in London. And, you know, they kind of became members of the family. And, you know, we make very sure that they fitted in with our way of doing things. And they're still friends to this day, many of them who we've left behind, or, you know, circumstances changed, you know, they became like family members, and we relied on them so much because, you know, the children need that stability, and they need, if it's not you, they need to know who it is and when you're coming back, and, you know, and it is tricky for them when every day, every week is different, but if you can, you know, have that stability of these extra people you bring into your home and have to trust, then, and that's what, you know, we've always done, and, you know, tried to, you know, and they've got a lot out of those other people who've been involved in their lives. Yeah. And
your youngest was on tour with you, right? At a very young age.
Yes, that was an unusual situation. I mean, I had said yes to the tour. We were touring with the LA Phil and Dudamel, this piece called The Gospel According to the Other Mary, and the tour came up, and it was London, Lucerne, Paris, New York, and of course I accepted the gig, and then I got pregnant, and realized that she would be 9 weeks when we would go on tour, and she was my third, and I thought, I can do this. I can't. And I think people thought I was crazy, but I don't know. I mean, luckily, the first, you know, I was lucky because in London and the European parts, my mother was able to come with me, so grandma could. So that I was very fortunate. And then in New York, I found a really good babysitting service through another friend who lived in New York, and trusted her with this young lady. And yeah, I mean, and she became like the tour baby who'd be passed around amongst all the singers, and it was a great experience for everyone. She was a great baby. I mean, it could have gone so many ways, but it worked, and it was a great experience for us. Yeah.
Does anyone else want to comment on the stability? How you're able to find stability when everything's so up and down?
Yeah, I will. You know, I think one thing that we've helped to teach our kids is we'll figure it out as we go. That we're figuring it out, and that my husband's also an actor, so like our day is, every day it's whatever comes up the next day. You just text each other, I got an audition, I'm this, I'm that, I have a callback, and we have, in our house, it's like, what's a priority is a calendar and a sense of humor, that you're flexible, that, you know, we're now a unit, like you said, like the unit of the family. And again, it's back to those little moments. I think the stability that we create is, we have tech-free week in our house. My kids came home one day and they said, it's tech-free Thursday at school, like in their after-school thing. I was like, what's tech-free Thursday? Like just anything with a cute little name. I was like, okay, well, it's tech-free Thursday in the house now too, you know, and they were bummed they ever told me. But then it became tech-free Thursday and Tuesday, and then the next year, it's just tech-free week. So there's no TV in our house morning when they're getting, just none until the weekend or Friday. And it was it seems like at first a really hard thing to do, but they just got used to it, and now it provides us moments where it's tech-free dinner, we have tech-free restaurant time. It's so every time it's just not, they don't even ask for it. And these are kids who are definitely playing Fortnite a year ago, you know, and then we comment all the time on how proud we are that we can have a conversation as a family. I mean, they're 8 and 10, and we'll walk in a restaurant, and I get when you have little ones, I get the different times you need it, but the stability of creating a family moments together, I think gives them that stability that we're all here, we're all listening, we're all talking to each other. And it doesn't happen all the time. I thought it'd be funny if I brought my kids tonight and just put them on a device or whatever, you know. But no, while I say this, but truly we try to do it as often as we can, and I think that even just that we sit down and have dinner whenever, if we're all home, that we have dinner together every night, that it's like I'm from the Midwest. I try to instill as much old-fashioned Midwest values as I can, so. And sometimes we fail, and then we talk about how we fail, and then we start again. So we're very open in talking about things, I think.
I'll just comment on stability. First of all, I'm learning so much on this panel, and I would love to shout Mom out for bringing your kid here tonight. No, don't be sorry. This is why we're all here, and to provide resources and support. First of all, I pull up to my house as well, and my kids are 2 and 5, and I should park a little bit earlier because I do stop and I still take my moment, and they're banging on the windows, but I'm like, Mama needs it, so we just need to do it. But I think one thing I've learned, so all of you and this industry is so unstable, and I'm more on that like corporate, more stable side, so I'm very grateful for that, and I'm very in awe of everyone. You choose to be in this industry, which is why I work for the organization I do, and we're glad that you do, because everyone else wants to watch the product and the creativity that you bring. But stability doesn't have to look like everything else, and that's what I've learned. So even though I'm not a performer going on auditions, I never know what my schedule is going to be like, and I am a working mom that works 7 days a week, and I figure it out, and I feel guilty a lot of the time for not being around, but it takes a village, and I'm so grateful for that village, because I'll go to the school and I'm like, I just picked up my daughter, I dropped her off at 7:30 and I'm picking her up at 6:30. It's a long day for a 2-year-old to be away from me. And she doesn't even know the difference between 3:30 and 6:30 because she's surrounded by love. And then she's surrounded by grandparents and friends, and she doesn't care who they are or that blood connects us, but she just cares that someone's loving her. So we all make it work, and stability could be whatever you want. You know, sometimes your baby might wake up at 3 in the morning, and you might give them that time, and that's your precious time. So the instability of this industry, you figure it out. You figure it out. You do what you can do. I love tech-free. I have not done that. We do tech-free dinners. I don't call it something, but it's really important to me. I grew up with that. And even if that TV's on and you're tech-free at the table, it's still there. So those moments of quiet are important. And you just figure it out.
Something that came to me is I realized for us, what works for us, and we haven't perfected it, but what's really helped us is to identify ahead of time what are the stressors, what are the things that stress us out the most. And in our home right now, it is calendar is making sure that we're all on the same page, because unexpected auditions come up, and for her, she has last-minute clients, people cancel. Her preschool has called and said, oh, we're taking a day off or whatever stuff is going on. So calendaring and scheduling ahead of time, making sure we're on the same page at least the night before for the next day, ideally a little further out. And in our home, it tends to be dinner, food prep, conceiving of what we're gonna have and making sure we have the ingredients for what we're gonna have and actually cooking it and then getting them to actually sit down and eat. For us right now, those are the two biggest stressors, and maybe that continues to be the case. But I know that for 80% of our conflict that involves us, my wife and myself, is usually around those things that we didn't plan ahead. The day snuck up on us, and it's 4:30, and we haven't forgot about dinner. What are we doing? Quesadillas again. Okay, so like having your fallbacks, right? So for us, identifying those things ahead of time as much as possible and sitting down, let's look at the next 5 days. Let's put it on the Google Calendar so we can see each other's calendars, and hopefully food prep.
So I think it was, yes, 30 and a half years ago, I heard myself arguing with a 1.5-year-old about which half hour of violent excuses for weapons he was going to be watching, which we normally call cartoons. And I went, this is insane. I'm arguing with a 1.5-year-old. And I took the television, talk about tech-free. I haven't had a television in my home for 30 years, and I make my living in it. And people used to say to me all the time, when my son would go over to their home, "You have the most polite child we've ever." I would say, "Do you have a working television in your home?" And they'd say, "Yes, we couldn't get him away from it. He just sat there. He wouldn't even eat." Because he would go to people's homes, because people would say to me, "Oh, you're going to make him a weirdo." Just like he was born at home with what are called certified nurse midwives. That's one right there, the fabulous Gay Nelson. And people were saying to me 30 years ago, "So you want your kid to die, right?" I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And so same thing, you're going to make him a weirdo. You're taking TV out of. He was this major sports guy, and he would get his fix on TV, and then he would be gone. And as a result, what we did do is all the talking, so much so that he would say to me all the time, "Why can't you just hit me like everybody else? Could we have to talk this out again? Please, I'd pull over to please don't pull over so that we have to talk this out." So yeah, it's amazing the amount of time that is freed up when you take out, that box that's just going and going and going. So there's that.